Toma dos.
So you were because you were coming to the end of that map, weren't you? You were coming to the end of you were talking about Oedipus who had suffered.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we take back up at Oedipus.
But well, he'd suffered, but he was elevated by the gods to Mount Olympus, and Colonus was where Athens was founded. Colonus was the village on which Athens was built. So the glory of Athens had been built on the suffering and the joy and the suffering, and life was unpredictable. It was full of oscillation. You solved a problem, you became proud, and then you fell. And all human beings are flawed, but although all human beings are flawed, they can learn from their experience. They can pass it on, and most important, they can portray it on a stage so everybody learns. And you mustn't think of Greek drama as entertainment. Greek drama was religious observance, and basically it was exposition of the human condition. This is the life. And in drama we can examine some of the most fundamental propositions in life, and we can learn to live with them.
Nice, very nice. I think that it's really nice that I saw you looking at the camera, and that it's kind of like a lecture. It's like you're lecturing directly to the camera itself.
Yeah, te iba a decir lo mismo, eh?
Yeah.
If you want to look the cameras,
yeah,
for me it's okay.
Yeah. I think that for this, the ideal is you look at this camera, look at that camera, go in between the two, and really speak directly to your audience.
Okay. There's another I'd like to add to that, Mayor.
Well, by all means.
Theatre is also very importantly the basis of democracy, because in democracy we fight, but we fight with words. We don't fight with physical force. And the ability to lift up conflict to the level of verbal jousting means that we can fight and let the audience then choose who the best antagonist is. So if you look at countries that have great theatrical tradition, you'll find these are also democratic countries. Britain, America, early Greece, Rome, etc. The Roman Republic had plays and theatre, and so theatre and democracy is associated because democracy is mock conflict, or conflict with words.
You're going to notice that I'm not going to be looking at you. I'm still listening to what you're saying, but I'm not going to look at you, so my eye contact doesn't pull you towards me, so you can just concentrate on the
I
cameras.
have been looking at the cameras.
Okay.
I did announce the headline for that, didn't I? I'm not going to leave out yin yang. I'm going to the next one. I'm always interested in.
Sorry. Can you remember the title? The title, yeah.
I want to talk about the tree with poisoned fruit, Saint Augustine and others. One of the earliest stories, of course, is that of the Garden of Eden, and the interesting thing is that it's a tree, and a tree has branches, and if you choose one branch of the tree over the other, or you eat the produce of the tree as where you've chosen, and you've left unchosen something else, and that upsets the balance or the harmony. of the garden to which you can never return. On the other hand, you are embarked on an epic journey. Milton in Paradox Lost, Paradise Lost says, some natural tears they dropped, but dried them soon. The world before them all to choose. So it is you sin, you make a mistake, but suddenly you are liberated thereafter in choice. Gregory Bateson made a fascinating interpretation of the Garden of Eden. He said, once upon a time there was a garden, and Adam realized that he could make a plan, and he got a box, and he put the box under the tree, and he put a box on top of that box, and he climbed up, or Eve climbed up and gave him the apple, and they got tremendously excited that they would do everything the planned way. I do A, B, C, and A and B leads to C, and quite suddenly the topsoil began to disappear, and quite suddenly Eve heard a voice which said, "In pain shalt thou bring forth children." And the environment began to deteriorate. Why? Because we had forced our consciousness onto the garden, because we were determined to do things our way. We wanted our plans fulfilled. And when we fulfill our plans, we upset the ecology. We upset the ecology of the world, and we begin to pay for it.
Very good.
All right, I'm ready. Can I just go ahead or not?
Oh yeah. Of course.
All right, I want to talk about the cross and the prison. And this is the psychotheology of H.A. Williams. Harry Williams was the chaplain of Trinity when I was up at Trinity in the 1950s. What is fascinating about his thinking is that he's taken the Freudian notion and turned it into a kind of crucifix. There is the known self, which is the crossbar on the crucifix, and there's the unknown self, which is the vertical arm of the crucifix that goes deep into the ground. And it isn't until the known self and the unknown self come into relationship with each other that we truly know who we are, why we're here, what we stand for. And if the unknown self is locked away inside us and not given room to breathe, or is not given freedom, it becomes a slave, sickly within us, striving for freedom, angry, rebellious. It will suddenly burst out of its confinement and embarrass us all and everybody, and wreck the person who has kept it a slave. So he is trying to get the unconscious, or the id, or the impulse out into the open. He happened to be a homosexual, which I think is probably implicated in his way of thinking, that he had a secret which would have disgraced him at that time had he admitted to it. But I think it's a beautiful rendition. The bars of a prison hold us in, and so long as we are slaves in that prison, we remain slaves to that which holds down and represses our instinct and our love and our understanding. But when we take the prison bars and we form these into a cross, then our feeling then our feeling intersects and relates to our thinking, and feeling can advise our thinking. Feeling can be a clue to our thinking. Feeling can inspire our thinking, and you don't discover that unless you let the unknown self come up and form a crucifix. And I think it's a brilliant idea. You know, people talk about are values absolute or relative, but of course the answer to all such questions is both. Values are absolute in the sense that if you don't have a mind, if you don't have any courage, if you don't have any skill, there's things you can't do. But it's relative in the sense that every situation needs another combination. It needs another crucifix, another intersection between our values. And that intersection has to be just right for the situation. If your child runs into the road, you have to be just angry enough so that the child knows that you still love that child. And therefore, morality is situational and it is absolute in the sense that you have to call upon your capacities, and if you don't have those capacities, there's no way you can cope.
Bueno, lo que podemos hacer, Laura, es tú te pones aquí
Sí.
para hacer una dinámica de miradas, ¿vale? Y desde aquí le puedes mirar y poder...
Yeah, great idea.
¿Sabes?
Great idea.
Y yo me pongo ahí, que también me podrán
Very good idea.
comunicarse, ¿no?
I like that one very much, Charles.
No
I think
repitamos, ¿eh? Yo no
Huh?
repetiría.
you wouldn't.
No.
No. I think that just towards the end, you added on some of your theory of values. So we've already got quite a lot about your theory of values. We've got that recorded. So if you really concentrate, always going back to the map, going back to that, if you see it like a unit, like a self-contained unit.
Y diré eso de que vigila con el foco, con el zoom. Está en 24.
Yeah.
No.
Shall I not?
No, tú juega. Y dile eso de que ahora puede mirarte porque estarás ahí.
Yeah. So now you can actually look at seeing that I'm right by the. What am I getting here? So one sec. Now that I am behind the camera, you can look at me. So you can also have that direct connection. You know, that personal.
With him or with him.
Yeah, so you can either look at Lau or you can either look at me. Okay, just give me one sec. Just finish playing this.
¿Qué estás haciendo, Mauro? Stop to move the pillows.
Okay. When you're ready.
I'd like to talk about The Broken Image, which is essentially, it's originally a book by Floyd Matson, who was a good friend of mine, but is a requiem for the state of psychology in our times, that psychology has been smashed into little bits and pieces, that we really think of psychology as mechanism. We talk about in economics. We talk about the market mechanism. Why a machine? A machine is something we have made. It's idolatry to take something that we have made and say that this is the human personality rather than the person who made the machine. It began really with Descartes, who divided the body and the mind. The mind, the things were res extensor, things out there, and the mind was inside us. And in those days, in Descartes' day, the church was responsible for the human soul. The church was responsible for our minds, and science had to deal only with the outside world. So we conceived of the world as a set of objects, and later on as a set of mechanical objects, or objects moved by mechanism. And the tragedy is that if you break up the world into pieces, you never succeed in putting them together again. The pieces remain forever in great dirty great piles, like bricks that don't make a house. John Donne saw this in the 17th century. He complained, "The new philosophy calls all in doubt. The element of fire is quite put out. The earth is gone, and no man's wit can well instruct him where to look for it. 'Tis all in pieces, all experience gone, all just supply and all relation." And Donne bewailed a world divided into bits and pieces, like a mixed up jigsaw puzzle, which we can never reassemble. You can't divide and subdivide the world into bits and pieces. And we have a curse of experimentation in psychology, where people think up horrible experiments on conformity and endurance of pain and torturing other people, all of which really have to do with the fact that the experimenter wants complete power over the people he is experimenting with. And this is all right in physics, because iron filings and objects are inanimate and cannot talk back. But when you do that to human beings, you basically create a psychology of ruthless manipulation. And that is what most of our social sciences have entered into. It is not how we really are, it is what experimenters do to us. And that is the problem.
Nice.
Brutal.
Can I move this a little bit? Change the shot slightly, or do we need the continuity to be really tight?
Well, the continuity always it's good. You don't like this, no?
Oh, I'm thinking of actually giving us a little bit more of it.
More?
Yeah, a little bit more.
You want more of this?
Yeah, I think just the tiniest bit will give us a nice. Yeah. Okay, now it might be a little bit too much, just in between.
No, stay allá and say stop.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, stop there. Yeah, maybe the tiniest bit more, like that. Yeah. Okay, now we're pretty much. Can I just do it? And then I'm just gonna
Do it.
glance and see. See where we got. Okay, yeah, that looks about right. Now I'm thinking, I don't really like this pillow. This pillow down here isn't really looking at it.
But Lawrence, you can move one pillow and the next shot another pillow and move the next paper. So in this moment, yes, we see that. What the fuck?
But I think that these will be separated units anyway, so the
Yeah,
continuity.
much better with the newspaper.
Yeah, much better with the newspaper, and you can kind of see with the text. But this is like the times of this fold.
It's okay.
Okay, no, it just needs the tiniest bit of this thing. Should solve it. Does that solve it?
Look at it. There we go. Big